Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. I am Old Man 102. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to MoteMancer. So, I hate this whole spaghetti shit we have going on, and I really just want to tear this whole thing apart and start over. In a really, really bad way. Because we have more water down here we can tap into. We have more earth down here we can tap into as well. And I'm seriously thinking about just moving all the power down here and just bringing it up as we need it. Because we do have a pretty large world. Now, we haven't gotten into this, and I think this is going to be Earth. And we're going to have to get into that soon, because we are definitely not using that element right now. And I don't know if there's any earth up this way we're going to be able to tap into, because I don't think I've even walked up this far. Yeah, so there's going to be some up here, so we're going to have to tap into that as well. But this whole mess of spaghetti, unfortunately, we're making our vines because we're going to need them. I think this whole mess of spaghetti needs to go. And we need to start making just like big buses of items, and then up here, over this way, and over this way is where we start doing our production. So I'm thinking about just ripping this whole mess apart, ignoring the research tree for now, and anything further we're doing. And I really think we need to just rethink this whole layout. Which means filling up my inventory, unfortunately, and just dumping everything in the chests. And just making buses of material. Because, for instance, we're getting like one little line of this product off of it, but now we need it in like we're going to need it in like 4 or 5 different factories per se. So I'm thinking it's time to just redo the basics and pretty much just start over. So what I'm thinking about doing is just making a bunch of chests. I don't think this is going to sprawl any further. At least I hope that's not going to sprawl any further. But maybe if to be safe, maybe we'll just dump some chests up here. And which means we're just going to need to make a few more of them. And we'll just start dumping some of our stuff that we have a bunch of into these chests for now. So we're going to need a bunch of inventory slots. So we'll just come over and dump stuff as we need it. But here's what I'm thinking, because we can pretty much redo this in a whole better manner. And we'll get all of these resources back to rebuild with. And then we can get, once we get big buses of stuff going, it's just going to make it easier all the way around. Like, this chest is full. But we really don't need, I don't think we need this much salt by hand anymore. I think we're beyond that point. So we'll have to dump like all of this salt. So let's break that. So we're going to need to grab all of this and just come up here and dump it in a chest. So now we can come over here. Do I have any made? Now there are more hot bars. That was one. So we have up to like 6 different hot bars now, I think. So this is going to be freaking awesome. So now we can get everything down on a hot bar. That was the latest patch this week. But I need... so we need some element of life in our inventory. So I got to be careful we don't completely tear this apart. You're the vines. Where is the element of life? Probably out of reach. Yeah, so let's grab 50 of those. So I just want to come up here and redo this so we can get some buses of stuff going. And we'll branch off from there. So I want to make at least 2 of these. And then we can get them down on our hotbar. Because what we can do now is we can stick one of these in the middle. And then we can get our symbol collectors. Now, I got to get one of them. We got to keep power in here. So what I want to do is go like bam. I can get these pretty much almost on top of each other. And then we'll do a slight turn this way. We can do a slight turn. Now I'm wondering if I can get 2 of these. How much closer can I get these? The idea is to get as many on here as we can. And then run belts off of them. Because I can go like this. And they're still, let me get my body out of the way. And they're still on here. And then we can turn it this way. And I can have a belt going. Well, this mess needs to leave. But I can go like this. It's still going to collect some. It's only going to be 54 there, but it's still going to collect some. And then we can get all of this out on belts. And we'll throw one like that. So these are going to need power, so we're going to have to redo the power. So let's get rid of this mess. I'm too far away. So let's get rid of some of this mess right here for now. And this chest is empty. So now what we need to do is we need to grab a belt like this. And then we can get, now see there, I have to fill this gap in, so let's move those. We can get those going like this. And then we can get our collectors back in here like this. And then as soon as we get our vines back in here in place, we can pretty much redo this the correct way. So let's get our power in here the way we want it now. And then again, this whole power node is going to change as well. I am not within reach. Let's close that. Oh man. So now we can get, why am I not within, there we go. So now we can get this coming out like this. I can get power in here like this. And then we can connect these together. And then the same thing over here. We can get power in here like this. And then bring this out this way. So now once we hook these in together, these will be connected. So let's run a vine up that way. See, now we have a whole bus of parts coming out. Do I have power on? It is. I don't. So I have power on. So I don't need these here. So now we have one belt of stuff coming out this way. We can get another belt of stuff coming out up here as well. So we're going to need to make a bunch of simple collectors. So let's get some salt prism and ether back into my inventory. So let's grab 50 of you, and we shall grab. Where is? Do I have a chest of ether anywhere? Out of reach. We do. So I'm gonna grab 50 of those. Now, so let's come in here and let's make a couple more of the simple collectors. We'll dump these chests into production. So now, if I spin this, I can get a couple more in here. Am I out of range? I'm out of range. So now we can grab our belts, come this way. And we can have another, and again, out of range. This out of range stuff is going to drive me nuts. So we can have another belt stuff coming over this way. How's our power? So we're going to have to add more power on, since we're redoing the network. And then we can have just big buses of stuff coming off that we can branch out and use, rather than this whole spaghetti mess we have going on. So let's pretty much do the same thing over here. So we can grab these guys, and I can throw one here. You're not on the belt. I can throw one here. Do I have, and there's 95 of them right there. I think I can even throw one right there, and we can throw a belt on this guy. Too far away. And then we can continue bringing this down. And then we can add on another one of these guys. And I need one space for you. And then we should be able to make sure you're connected to the network. So now we should be making 900. So why are we not why are we still only generating 600? You should be. Alright, so you're just out of range. That's fine. So let's do this. Let's come on this side so I can actually get myself unstuck. So let's grab a couple collectors up here and get these guys in as tight as we can. And then we can grab a row of belts. And just tap it into there. You're out of range of that blossom. That's fine. Why am I still saying I'm only making 600? I should be making 900. Okay, it doesn't have power at its core. I gotta come down by 1. I gotta remember to leave 1 gap so I can get power to it. There we go. So we should be making 900. Now we have this all coming out that we can hook back into the network. Now I can still add another whole row up here. And they're not going to be using power if we're not using the element, so we're really not wasting anything. So now if we come back up here, and again we're going to have to make a bunch of these, I can go like this and just keep these guys on the network. As long as they're within range of this bloom. And that is how we're going to set our buses back up. And then probably reposition the rest of our factory to make more sense out of it. Next, I can make a whole line of stuff making salt, and then we can branch off of the salt and take it where we need it. Rather than this whole spaghetti of shit that we had going on. So now that we have that set up, let's make a bunch more of these. So I am going to need, what did I use? Salt prisms. Let's grab 100 of those. I don't want to completely tear this factory apart yet. And then let's grab 100 of those. And let's come in here and let's craft a bunch more of the collectors. And then we can come down here and we can do the same thing with this mess of crap down here. I'm thinking we start just tearing this apart as well. And we're probably going to have to dump stuff out of my inventory into some chests. So let's head back up here for a second. Where did I dump those chests? Anything empty? You. So I could dump you in there, you in there, and you in there. And we'll just plop another one down. So I could dump you in there, you in there, you in there. And we'll figure out how to use those. We'll get all that stuff back into the network. But see, now I can come down here. And we can pretty much do the same thing. So let's get our bloom here. Now I'm going to probably reroute this power. So I'm thinking we need to have our belts coming up north. So I'm thinking we get our first one going. Well, I can always turn them. Let's go this way first. And again, we're going to break the power. I'm not close enough. Let's do this first so I don't completely kill the power. So let's bring this mess again, just temporarily over this way. This way I can get rid of this whole mess coming down here and redo it. Now we're going to need just one thing of power coming in here. Just to get it started. Then we can get our... Now we want, I think I want our belts going north. Let's go this way. And we can come here. Just bring them out this way for now. And then we can turn them north and come up. So now we come over here. And now we start bringing it in as close as I can get it. So let's come up at this angle. Staying within range, so now we can bring a set of belts. Hang on, I might be able to get... Let's get these hooked up first. Okay, these are not on the same plane. Alright, hold on. I think this one I'm going to need to bring out by one. Get this one in as close as I can. There we go. Can I? No, let's move these down by one. There we go. So now we can get a set of belts running this way, and then we can get more of these guys this way. Is that one gonna have power? It will. And then we can come over. Okay, you're gonna be out of range. Alright, that's fine. And then we get these guys going this way. And then we bring these belts down this way. And then I think I can get a couple more collectors here and here. Now everything should be in range of this bloom. Now if I move these vines over, I think I can get one more collector in here. So let's break this for a second. Can I? Can I get two? And we can get those going onto that belt. So now this is going to be, so now we can have a couple different belts coming off here into where we need them. And then reroute the power under some of these guys, the underground slabs. So the first thing we got to do is reconnect this. And again, we're going to change all of this up. I just want to get some of this stuff. I just want to keep some of this stuff running. as we slowly rebuild our buses. So, I've got to get, do I need... If I break this, do I need this? Can I get rid of this mess? No, because that's going to break the power up here. So can I, how can I reconnect? Oh, we may be out of power. Okay, so we have no power. So you are off the grid. But I can fix it up here temporarily. And that puts everything back online. Now how much? Oh, we're still good. So now we can come back down here, and we don't need this mess. I do need one right there temporarily. Now we can get this guy hooked back up. And that gets that flowing again. So that's going to keep this whole mess going. And we should have, so we got to get this guy reconnected. So I've got to get power. Okay, that's the power I needed for here. This first one's going to have to go. So we're going to have to redo our whole salt production. Alright, so you're full because you're full. Okay, you're not running because you're full. So I'm thinking we redo the whole salt production first. And get all of that running again. Again, how much power can... Generating 900, not using a lot of it right now. So we can get rid of this spaghetti. And then I'll figure out how to empty all these chests. Like, inventory management is going to become a problem. Everybody's complaining on Discord. Not really complaining, but everybody's suggesting we need... because there's so many different elements, we need more inventory slots. So now that we have a couple different buses coming off of here, I'm thinking this mess needs to come apart next. And then we just need to redo our salt, maybe like right in here, and then just bring it down. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is go like this. And that's going to keep our power. And then we can bring these over and start coming down. But I'm thinking I should be able to feed these right into these guys. So let's throw an extra belt or two on here, just to bring this out now. So let's grab our grindstone and let's throw our grindstone back on here. Now I think it will feed directly in. Now you are going to need power, but I'm also going to need a belt for it to come off onto. Now can I get it directly onto a belt? That is the question. Or am I going to need to feed? No, I'm going to need to feed you in and out. Okay. So you're not going to go directly into there. So we are going to have to go like this, which is fine. So we're going to need you. We're going to need grindstone. Then I'm going to need you coming back off. And then we're going to have our old belts. And I'm thinking we bring the belts this way. So if we bring our power back, does that mess turn back on? It does. So now we can get our salt flowing back. So I don't need this one anymore. We don't need this one anymore. I'm going to have this chest to deal with. I don't need you anymore. So we have a whole chest of salt that I can throw up here. So let's actually craft some more chests. So let's throw you up there. So let's come down here and let's grab those. And we can throw them up here for now. Just get them out of our inventory so that can come up. Then we can do pretty much the same thing. So let's come over this way. Let's add a couple more belts going that way. Now we are going to need power in here though. So let's throw you onto there. So we're going to have to space these out a little bit. So we're going to have to bring power up on one of these sides. So if I throw you here, I should be able to get you. We're going to have to make more of these guys. Like this and this. And then we can have, we'll have room for our vines. I'm going to have to connect you this way. So that's going to get a second line running. Now the problem is I got to get vines until we have our long reach. I'm going to call them inserters. Getting power into these is going to be a pain. So now we need to reconnect. Well, or do we? I want to redo this spaghetti over here. So now we're not going to need power coming up this way because we can bring it straight across. So if I go like this, I should be able to get rid of this. Oh, one more here. Alright, so we're going to need... So this whole mess was just to get salt into this guy. So where else are we using salt? Okay, we're using salt down here to make salt prisms with. Is this the only guy using straight up salt right now? I think it is. So I'm thinking this whole mess can go. And then we can reroute that power to clean that up. Actually, we don't even need that coming up here anymore. I think we can clean this whole mess up. Okay, broke the power over here. We can reconnect that. We're not using that right now anyway. So this whole mess can get cleaned up. No, I gotta get power. So we still don't have power on this side of the factory. Unless I put... Well, we're gonna redo this anyway. Do I need this running for now? You're making... Yeah, you were making our earth. I'm not using it right now. We can move it. All I need is salt and elemental life, which is coming up from here. I can actually leave this here. We just got to reconnect power. So I've got to get power to that vine. And then this whole mess is going to get moved anyway. So let me just temporarily try and get power up here. Can I? Yeah, let's run it up this way. Just temporarily, we're going to reroute it anyway. That'll keep that running. Alright, so that cleans up a lot of the spaghetti, some of the spaghetti in the middle. We got a lot of the spaghetti to get cleaned up some more. So I need salt coming down here, and I need salt going into there, but this whole mess can now go. And so I've got to get salt coming down here and salt going into there. So I think this whole mess can go for now. And then do I need this? We'll have to rerun power. We'll have to reroute this. So why is it not connected? Was that one branch supplying everything up north? It is. So temporarily, until we can get it rerouted. Let's just do something like... Okay, so why do you still... Oh, you're not connected. One more right there. That connects the whole north branch back. So, now the problem is that blocks, that's not going to work. That's going to block my belt. So we got to get power up north without muddying this up. So I'm thinking we just branch this up here somehow. We have... So simplest solution over here is throw one of you on here, and then I can get power through there. Just by doing that. So now we can bring our power through here. And that gets our whole north area reconnected without muddying this area up over here. So now we just got to get salt coming down to here and here for now. Now, what am I... Okay, so you are making salt prisms, because you also need ether, so I'm going to need to leave you here for now until we redo the south branch. You have got to get salt reconnected too, and get it connected here. Now let's try something. Can we make our own splitter? I'm curious. So if I bring you this way, can I branch off two different ways? So can I branch off this way? And then will you let me branch off this way? No, it's not going to let me make my own splitter. So I've got to get salt to here and salt to here. So I'm going to have to bring two separate lines of salt down. That kind of sucks that I can't make a splitter. Is it going to be in a research tree? Can we get... do we have splitters? You're going to get me leaves. You're going to get me leaves. You're going to get me leaves. Okay, they're reaching gripper, so we definitely need to get the elemental earth going. That's going to get us a reaching gripper is like a... think of it as... I could put two belts together and have a short gripper and a long gripper. Think of it as a long reach inserter. But I don't see splitters or mergers. That is definitely going to suck. Okay, so we got to get into the water. So now we're using vines to move electric, or we're using belts to move stuff around. We're going to get into streamways, which is a water. So we're going to be able to move stuff through water, and I think the water has a splitter and a weaver. So we can, yeah. So we're going to need to get into water to do splitters and mergers. So we're going to want to do elemental water. We're going to want to do elemental water by hand. Well, we're going to do a simple factory to do the elemental water. We want to get this unlocked. We want to get rid of the belts and go to streamways. Because I'll have mergers and splitters. So let's get the water in. What are you working towards? Leaves. What do the leaves do? Lush flora brimming with lifeless, rampant growth, abundant power production, and duration in a mana cultivator. Maybe the leaves boost our power. So we're going to want to finish this off, and there's going to be 200 of them. So let's throw in salt prisms and elemental life. Well, I want to get... so let's do... crap. You have no power. Well, let's do this. Let's throw in one of you. And then I can bring you around that way. So that's going to get our power going back up here. Now, I think I'm going to change this. So let's throw a belt there. And you here. And then you there. So that's going to get that production running again. And that's going to leave us room here to add to redo this spaghetti once we get our water done. So what I need in here now is we got to finish this. So salt prisms and elemental life. So salt prisms and elemental life. So let's grab some. Okay, first of all, I got to empty some of this shit in my inventory. Let's just throw another simple chest down. Again, we've got to clean this mess up, but let's get some of that shit out of there I don't need. So let's grab 1, 2, 3. Let's grab 4 of those. And we'll throw them in there, and let's grab out of reach. Nope, you're the vines over here, and we'll throw them in this one, I believe. Yeah, there we go. So let's finish that production up, or let's finish that research up, and then we'll switch it over to. So we got to get elemental water going. So let's do a temporary setup for the elemental water, and then what's our recipe for the water? So I need water and ether. So water and ether. Oh, it's going to have to be up here. I'm going to have to, we're just going to have to temporarily make it by hand. So I need an elemental binder. So let's just throw that down. I'll put it over here close to power. We're going to hand feed this puppy for now. So let's get you. So we're going to need one of these coming out into a chest. I don't like it going in that direction. Let's go that way. I believe is out. It is. So that'll be a chest there, and then I need to bring in two different elements. So chest and chest. So we're gonna go water. So I need water and ether, and then we got to get power into here. Which is not a problem. And this is going to be temporary. So we got to get water and ether. You know, so what we have in our chests that we can empty. There we go. So we can grab water. And then do I have any ether up here anywhere? I do. So let's grab those for now. And then we can start getting those chests empty. So let's throw water in this one. And ether in that one. So that's going to get us those that we're going to need. So that's going to get our elemental water temporarily running. This whole spaghetti is going to get fixed next time. So as soon as this one hits 200, we can finish that off. And while we're making these guys, which we're going to need next. Now, can I do multiple research at the same time? So in an infusion altar, do we have any? Infusion altar, I do have one. Let's throw you on there for now. So can I set up another temporary one over here? It's going to need power. I think I can. So what do we want to put in there? So I need the wrong one. So we're going to need salt prisms and elemental water. So elemental water and salt prisms. What are you? You are a pedestal. Do I not have pedestals? Pedestals. I don't think I do. Let's make 2. Let's clear you. Let's clear. Sorry. Let's clear you off of there. I didn't want to make. Okay. Okay. Never mind. I wonder what that line is. Not sure. Crap, I did not want to make that many. Infusion altars. Let's throw them. Oh, yeah, so I accidentally made a bunch of those. It's not what I wanted. I wanted the freaking pedestals. Did we make the pedestals? I don't need you. I wanted the pedestals. Am I not seeing them? There we go. They're up here. I want you down here. There we go. Alright, so pedestals, let's go bam and bam. We can get power in here very easily. So we are going to need, let's make a few more of these. I'll make 10 of those. I forgot what the other element was now. Alright, so you here and here and here and here with a chest and a chest. Now, crap, not going to show me the rest. I forgot what I needed. We want salt prisms and the elemental water. So salt prisms. Do I have any sitting here in the chest we can empty? We got a bunch of salt I can get rid of eventually. Alright, so you're empty. No, so let's grab some salt prisms. We should have a chest with them going in. We do. So let's grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's grab 1, 2. Let's grab what we have. So you can have these. You can have these. And then I just need to get power in here now. So let's grab some vines. And then you're going to need power. Alright. So hopefully we got 2 different researchers going on at the same time now. We can. Awesome. So we can get multiple research going at the same time. Now, we could probably get the one for the earth going at the same time, which is here. So we just need to make elemental earth. And we should be able to get those going at the same time. That would be really cool. to have multiple of these lines going at the same time. Alright, so we're going to need to get more salt coming down here. So, we're not using a lot off of here, but I can't split these until we get the waterways going. And then we'll get rid of the belts and use the water. Now, I'm going to need... to get more salt onto this belt. I have an idea. But I'm also going to need to get power in here. So we're going to need another grindstone. Let's come over here a little bit closer. I'm going to need a couple more belts here. I'm going to need a couple more belts here. I'm going to need you going well, this way and this way. Now the problem is getting power in here. So I'm going to have to move it out a little bit. Because we're going to have to bring power in this way. So you are just going to have to come out by 1 or 2. So we're going to have to put you back in. Can I put you there? No. Maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. No, not you. You. So I'm going to need you like so and like so, and then I can get crap. That way. So that should get me more salt on that line. So I'm not getting any salt down here now. Are we using it? We are. So I'm going to need to get even a little bit more on that line. Oh no, that might do it. That might just do it. I do need to get more salt on that line. We're going to have to fix that next time. Oh, so hang on. So let's come in. No, let's I'm going to leave it here. We'll play with the water next episode. I am Old Man 102. Please smash that like and subscribe on your way out and have an awesome day.